Healers, and those of you that feel called to be healers, listen up. I have always been the alien in my family, not just because I've always been interested in healing, but also because I'm a musician. There really isn't anybody in my family that's like me, that has these interests that I have, that has these abilities. And at times that has been like super, super lonely for me. And it's made me question a lot about myself and my calling and what I'm here to do. Maybe you can relate to that. And this is where connecting with our ancestry and our lineage can be really, really powerful. Unfortunately, over the last several generations, so many of us here in the West have lost the connection to what is probably somebody in your ancestry or your lineage that was also a healer. Those things didn't get passed down for a wide variety of reasons. And now those of us that feel called to this kind of feel like orphans. So one of the things that I've always been told is that my great-grandmother, who I never knew, was the person in our town that if somebody got burned, she would know how to make a poultice to help them. She knew how to grow the medicines. She delivered the babies. She took care of the old people. And it was only very recently that I stumbled across some information that in that tradition, in the German-Russian tradition, the only way that she would have known that information at that time is if she herself had been mentored by somebody else who is what's called a braucherei. It's kind of like a medicine person of that tradition, and there was one in every village in Russia and in Germany as well. And so learning this about her, nobody ever told me that she was a braucherei, but just putting the pieces together, I surmised that she was. And so for me now, 2 generations, is that 2 or 3 generations later, it helps me to like make sense of myself, if that makes sense. And it helps me to know that there is someone in my lineage that was doing this work. And that term lineage has become more important as time has gone on because we see so many illegitimate people out here on social media saying they're healers, saying they're coaches, and actually doing really damaging work because they don't have any accountability, they don't have any mentorship, they don't actually have any real expertise. But there's a deeper soul part of this where it helps me to not feel so alone and different within my family because there was somebody else like me that was doing this work. And I feel that by reconnecting to this work, I'm reconnecting to her as well somehow. One of my herbal mentors said to me a while ago when I was in the process of trying to uncover this, she said, Erin, remember that you're in the process of remembering. You're not just learning, you're remembering what has even in your DNA been passed down to you by somebody that came before you. And this was a profound truth to me. It just hit me like, oh yes, that really speaks to where I am in my process and what I need to hear as I'm more fully embodying being a healer at this time in my life. And now, as someone who is mentoring my own apprentices, this is something that I feel really passionate about helping people to reconnect with, because we are loners. We are the ones that are on the fringes, and we don't have a lot of other validation and affirmation from people around us. And so knowing that there were people that came before us in our family, or connecting to the legitimate lineage of a mentor ourselves, as I have done with many of my mentors, helps us to feel connected to something greater, to that community of healers, not just on the earth now, but throughout centuries and through many different traditions that have also been called into this work. So if that's speaking to you, I want to just encourage you to start exploring that. And if this is something that you want support with, this is one of the 3 pillars that I teach my Wild Women apprentices in apprenticeship. So if you're curious about that, go ahead and book a pressure-free call with me or just reach out.